All right, now storyboards. These, after you write your scripts are done first, right? They are the foundation before you ever get into any kind of storyboards. Once you have your foundation, you have your scripts written, you've kind of, as far as the storyboards go, those are for the developer. Now, I'm going to tell you that usually what I have always done, right, and it depends on your process and if you have a developer or not, what I've always done is I've always went from script to prototypes. And if you do prototypes, you don't need storyboards. However, like I said, you need to know how to write a storyboard because there are many times where you might land a job as an instructional designer working for a team and you're the instructional designer and someone else is the e-learning developer. And in that case, you have to be able to write clear, effective storyboards, right? Where you take your script and you put it in to a storyboard. And essentially, instead of, remember that show column, you're going to actually build out what you want them to show. You're going to build the actual visuals into your storyboard so that somebody can follow your instructions and build the course. And I'm going to show you a couple of different ones. All right, let's escape out of this. I'll show you some different, escape. All right, here we go. So I've pulled up several of them. So for instance, I've shown you this one right here. Is just kind of a scripting template, say show do. That's one type of a storyboard, but that's not a real storyboard. That's not anything that you'd be able to give to an e-learning developer unless you implicitly trust their visual design skills and you don't need to give them a lot of instructions. Usually, you would create first a style guide. All right, so here's an example of a style guide. We have this template in the Academy. All right, so you create your style guide. So this is one type of thing that you create before your storyboard. And then there are different types of actual storyboards that you can create. Now, this is one that you've seen in the Academy, right? And this is one where you include the date, the course name, the module number, the module section, the slide, right? The navigation notes. You put your script, what's the narration here, and then you describe what the animation is going to be, right? What are they going to show? And then you actually put in here, what are they going to show? So this is one type of storyboard. There's another kind. Now, this is not a formal storyboard, right? This is something that you might do if you write a full script and before you get to the storyboard, you might like highlight different parts and say, okay, this is going to be text with images. This is going to be a video. See, so this might be another type of storyboard. This is the traditional type of storyboard. Here's a rise. This template's in the Academy, right? All you're doing is moving your script into here, but you're actually building out the visual. So I have an example. The point is, for a storyboard, is you want somebody to pick up your storyboard and be able to read it like instructions, and then they can develop your course without having to go back and forth with what do you mean by this? That is the point of a storyboard, especially for e-learning. Now, there are other types of storyboards too. You're probably like, why you keep showing me all this kind? Because I'm telling you that I can show you one type of storyboard, but you might get onto the job and they use a completely different format for storyboards. And I want you to know that's totally okay, right? The point is that you're writing instructions, whether that's for yourself or for the developer. But really, if you're the developer and the designer, that's why I say go with prototypes. Why do a storyboard? Because subject matter experts and stakeholders, they really don't read storyboards well. It's all, so if you're going to be the developer and you're the designer, it is better to just create a prototype to show your stakeholders and your subject matter experts. And you can also get that in front of your learners a lot easier than for them to understand a storyboard. So storyboards really are for giving somebody else instructions, unless, of course, you're in a role where your boss makes you write the storyboard and your boss is an instructional designer and they read your storyboards before you do the build, then maybe you'll build a storyboard in that case. There are other types of storyboards. Now, this is the kind of storyboard that I built for a client. And the way I storyboarded this one is I actually did the design on the slide, what it would look like in the e-learning course, right? And I put the text of what is said in the notes. Voiceover, animation, right? Voiceover, animation. And this is another way to storyboard, right? Where you actually fill it up with what the visual is going to be in the e-learning course. And then I write the voiceover and the animation in here, right? Or you could add like, what are the layers? Oh, this one got real small. Let's see if I can make that bigger for you. Okay, I guess it's a PowerPoint to Google slide thing. All right. Okay. And so then for this one, because it goes from one thing to another, I show that next step, right? There it is. The slide's built out, but the voiceover and the animation is in there. So this is another example. Here's another example of a storyboard, right? So here's a Chesapeake Stable storyboard. So here's the slide, the title, what goes on screen, a logo, and this one doesn't even include the visuals, right? It just talks about it, right, in text format, and then the title. So not the title, the narration. So here's the narration. So you just plop your script in there, and since you already have the show going on in your script, then it's easy to fill out this part. And then the programming notes, right? So you're going to import the slide, animate the content, insert the audio. And this is another type of storyboard. Sometimes people just live by text storyboards, right? And you could even include the images, names in there. That's another type of storyboard. So those are the main types, right? Where you actually build out the visuals on there, put the notes in here. Here's the Rise one. And now it changed, right? Because the difference in this storyboard for Rise is that it's about the block types. And then you can put the content right here, right? You still identify the lesson numbers and all that kind of stuff. And then there's a text storyboard. I'm trying to see if I covered them all. This is like going by the script and then just saying what things are. That's not a real storyboard, right? This is like what you might do if you have a client and you're the developer and the designer. Then you might just go through your script and be like, this is going to be a video. This is going to be a text. This is going to be an infographic. This is going to be whatever. And so that's more of a, freelancer type of storyboard thing. And then you'd go and you'd build your prototype. And so I just want to reiterate that scripts are foundational for you, right? So how are you going to structure your design of each piece of your content? And then your storyboards, like I've said already, it's for instructions for your developer, but you still want to know how to do a storyboard. That's why it's important to practice. Also, it's important to do storyboards in the academy before you start building your e-learning, right? Because you need to get feedback from the academy coaches before you go and build a whole course. And then you get feedback and you're like, oh my gosh, I have to start over again, right? And so that's another reason why we encourage you to build visual storyboards in the academy. And then, of course, e-learning, that's just the developing based on those instructions.